Hi, this is Mary Pope Handy. I am a realtor with Sereno Group in Los Gatos, California, which is part of Silicon Valley. Today, I'd like to address new home buyers just coming on the market about how much they can reasonably expect their money to buy in terms of home, quality, size, location, that kind of thing. It can be very confusing because the web portals have all these great pictures of houses that are for sale somewhere in Santa Clara County, San Jose, Northern California, and they look fantastic and they look like they could be in range. And then, as it turns out, they actually sell for much higher than those list prices, and so it's confusing. And the buyers may start off with the wrong expectation. So, what I like to do when I first meet with clients or potential clients is to go over with them kind of what's their expected budget. It might change after they talk to a lender if they haven't already, and their down payment, what their hopes and dreams are, their wants and desires, and then their needs for the property they're hoping to purchase. Now, once I get all that, I can kind of plug in their parameters into the MLS system, the multiple listing, and see what have homes matching that description actually sold for. And if I don't put a cap of price on it, we can sometimes get a better sense of how likely they are to be successful. So, for example, if they're looking to buy a home in the Cambrian area and they want union schools and they want 2,000 square feet and it needs to be fully remodeled and it needs to be $1 million or less, I can tell you that's probably not going to happen unless there's something else really, really wrong with the property. But rather than me just telling you that, what's more helpful is for me to go to the MLS, pull up the solds from the last 90 to 180 days, and show them what is selling for under $1 million. And then conversely, if I take the price tag off of it and plunk in what they want and only show them their modeled homes, they might see that they're really about $1.5 million or something like that. And then they can see, well, maybe a couple of them sold in budget, but they backed up to a school or maybe a high voltage power line or a busy road. And they can see that, if the most of the homes that match what they want to buy are substantially higher than their ability, that's a clue that they might be searching for a needle in a haystack. And conversely, if they just look at the solds that were in their budget, they might say, gee, we can get a home in Cambrian with these schools and this size home if we're willing to fix it up. I'm not saying that's possible at $1 million. It may or may not be. I'm seeing homes that are about 1,500 square feet sell for about 1.1 that need a lot of work. But just as an example. So it's helpful to go back and look at the sold data and find out how likely is it. It may not be impossible, but it may be really, really hard to get them what they want. And they need to know that, especially in an appreciating market. The other thing to understand is that home prices are seldom static. And especially in our area, that usually they're going up and up and up and up. We might take a break once in a while. Sometimes we have a really big break, usually not as bad as the recession we had in 2008, 2009. But in general, the market is not flat. It's either correcting or it's going up, and most of the time it's going up. So if you can see that sales in 1 month were here, and the next month were here, and the next month were here, there's a pretty good sense they're probably going to keep going like this, with some exceptions. Seasonally, it usually slows down in summer, usually slows down in December. Sometimes prices go flat, sometimes they correct mildly. But in general, we know that there's going to be a trajectory. And a way of considering it is to use the analogy of a ball in a ball game, whether it's baseball, softball, or soccer, football, basketball. The solds that we look at are really representing yesterday's news. That's where the ball used to be. The pending sales today, this week, now, that's where the ball is. And we don't always have that information. We don't always know what are homes selling for right this week. And then what's going to be closed in a month, which might be the home you're writing an offer on, that's where the ball's going. And what you really need to anticipate is not where is it today, where is it going to be next month when your sale closes. So a lot of times what we do when writing an offer is we do a little recon. Pick up the phone, call the agents of the pending sales nearby that are most similar, ask them questions. How many offers did you get? How are the contingencies? Can you tell me anything about pricing? And a lot of times that'll tell us where the ball was last week or the week before. And so we can kind of build this trajectory and kind of do the dotted line connecting and figure out where it's going to be. And a lot of times that does work. It's not foolproof because you can always end up with way more offers than you thought you were going to get, or maybe you have a pack of offers that are all kind of in the same range of prices, and you have one desperate fellow who's lost out 10 times and they just spike the price because they're going to win, and that you just can't predict. Anyway, that's my introduction to pricing for buyers new to the market. It's really good to connect with a strong buyer's agent who will run the data for you and not just kind of tell you, that's not realistic. Even though a lot of times we can keep a pulse on the market, and we know if we hear something's grossly low that it's just not going to happen. You'd rather have the data, and we'd rather give you the data. So, you want to harness yourself to an agent who's going to help you get the good information so you can make wise decisions. And if you're always looking at the solds thinking, well, it was worth that 90 days ago, so it's worth that today, you're going to keep missing the market. You're going to be under it by 3, 5, 10%, and you'll be frustrated. And the longer it takes you to buy in an appreciating market, the more expensive it's going to be. So I don't like to see that happen to anybody. I had one buyer recently get very discouraged and said, we should have bought 2 years ago when we came here, and by waiting it literally cost us $200,000. And when that happens, a lot of times people become permanent renters because the gap between what they could have had and what they can have now is so painfully great that it's just almost impossible to make that commitment to buy anymore. So interest rates are low. It's a good time to buy, but you don't want to take too long doing it if you can help it. Be wise and be quick. All right. Let me know if you'd like to meet with me about buying a home in Saratoga, Los Gatos, Almaden, anywhere in Santa Clara County. Love to talk with you, and I'm easy to find. Just Google me or look at the website here. It's got my number and my email address everywhere. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.